Alkane are the simplest families of hydrocarbon compounds containing carbon and hydrogens only. In previous lessons, we have learned that hydrocarbons are the substances that contain carbon and hydrogens only in the molecules. Okay, and we also learned that alkane is a saturated hydrocarbons, and if you still remember, saturated hydrocarbons only has carbon-carbon single bonds. If it has double or triple bonds between the carbons, then it's unsaturated hydrocarbons. Okay, so let's see a few examples of alkane here. This is the first three alkanes in the homologous series. The first one is called methane, and the formula is CH4. We are going to learn the naming and the formulas of the molecules later. Okay, so for the time being, you don't need to worry about the name and the formula. Okay, so from here we can see that it only has carbon-hydrogen single bonds. This one also, it has a carbon-hydrogen single bond and carbon-carbon single bond. And this one also, it only has carbon-carbon single bonds and carbon-hydrogen single bonds. So for all alkane, it has only two types of bond, carbon-hydrogen bonds and carbon-carbon single bonds. The general formulas of alkane. The general formulas of alkane is CnH2n plus 2. Okay. For examples, if n equal to 1, if n equal to 1, which means it only has one carbon, then the formulas of the alkane will be C1H 2 times 1 plus 2, and then the formula is CH4. Okay, so this is the first alkane. Yep. So if n equal to 2, if n equal to 2, then the formula becomes C times 2 H 2 times 2 plus 2. So the formula equals to C2H6. So how about if n equal to 40? Okay, n equal to 40, then the formula will become C 40 and then H 2 times 40 plus 2. Okay, so then the formula become C40 H82. Okay, so this is the formulas of alkane. So the general formula, is a guidelines. The general formula is a guidelines for us to write the formulas of alkane. Okay, so we substitute the number of carbons. Okay, n is represent the numbers of carbons, so we substitute the values of n into the formula, and then we can find the molecular formulas of any alkane. Okay, functional group of alkane. Alkane has no functional group, but anyway, in some of the book, they may tell you that the carbon-carbon single bond, this carbon-carbon single bond, is the functional group. Okay. Usually they won't ask you about the functional group of alkane. Okay, naming alkane. Alkane is an organic compound, and to name organic compound, we refer to the numbers of carbons per molecule of the organic compounds, and then followed by some suffix. For alkane, the suffix for the name is ane. Okay, so for example, if the alkane has one carbon, the code for the name of one carbon is met. So therefore, okay, we start with met and then followed by the suffix ane. So this is the name of the alkane that has one carbon, methane. Okay, methane. And for alkane that has two carbons, the code of the name is eth, et. So the name of the alkane with two carbon is, okay, so this is a suffix. Okay, so eth followed by the suffix ane. So therefore the name is ethane. So how about alkane with three carbons? Okay, for three carbons, the code is prop. The code for the name is propped. Okay, and then followed by the suffix ane. So therefore the name of the third alkane that has three carbon atoms is called propane. So that is how we name alkane. Okay, we name according to the number of carbons per molecule and then followed by the suffix ane. Okay, now in SPM, you need to memorize this code. If you can't memorize all of this code, okay, then at least you memorize the first 6. Okay, the first 6 code. If you can't, then try to memorize 2 more, 7 and 8, hept and oct. For this 9, 10, 11, 12, it really seldom come out in SPM. Normally they won't ask you, okay? So they will ask you until this molecule with 6 carbons only, usually. So make sure that you memorize this code. We are going to use this code for certain molecules of alkane. These are the first 10 members of the unbranched-chain alkane series. We are going to discuss the branch of alkanes in next lessons. Okay, so far, just assume that all the alkanes that we discuss has no branched. So we call it unbranched-chain alkane. So just now we have learned that alkane with 1 carbon is called methane, right? The code is met followed by the suffix ane, methane. And as for this alkane with 2 carbons, okay, is ethane. How about alkane with 3 carbons? Alkane with 3 carbons, the name is propane. And how about 4 carbons? 4 carbon is butane, and 5 carbon is pentane. Okay. 6 carbons, 6 carbon is hexane. Therefore the formula is C6H14. Okay, the general formula, if you still remember, is CnH2n plus 2. Okay, so C6H14. Heptane has 7 carbons, so C7H16. Octane 8 carbons, C8H18. Nonane 9 carbons, H20, and decane is a C10, H22. So these are the formula and the name of the first 10 members of the unbranched chain alkane series.